I've ran in Nike, I've ran in Salomon, I've ran in Saucony trail shoes, and this shoe has the most slide. As runners, updated shoes, they're great. But for some reason, sometimes some updated shoes don't go so well. Nike Infinity React, pretty crappy from 1 to 2. But the best is when you take a shoe that you love and you give it something that you love a little bit more. Comparing Speedgoat 4 to Speedgoat 5, I've had the opportunity to run a lot of different trails in the Speedgoat 4. Pinnacle runs being 2 times in the Grand Canyon doing rim to rim to rim, and I love this shoe. I feel as by far the Speedgoat lineup is the #1 shoe that HOKA has, and if they didn't create any other shoes, I'd be totally okay with that as long as they keep creating Speedgoats. And so when I had heard that they were giving a decent update to the Speedgoat 4 coming out with the Speedgoat 5, I really got a little nervous. And so I want to talk to you about my experience, what I think the difference is, and which one I will be using moving forward. 3 different areas that I like to look at is the comfort, the ride, and the overall experience and the overall shoe as itself. So as we dive into this, let's start, first of all, #1 in comfort. One of the things that I loved about the Speedgoat 4 is the toe box of the Speedgoat 4 was perfect for my foot. Never did I have an issue. From the first time that I laced it up in my first run, it just felt extremely comfortable. When I would be going uphill, when I'd be going long, prolonged downhills, I never felt like that toe box was really crammed in. And so when I initially laced up the Speedgoat 5 and I felt a little tightness on that lateral side of my pinky toe, I got a little bit concerned. But it wasn't until I relaced them up and on the second run that I got back to that same feeling, that same comfort that I had in the toe box for the Speedgoat 4. And the feel and the comfort of the toe box, it was an absolute wash for me once I figured out the lacing for my foot in the Speedgoat 5. But where I think the most dramatic difference is, and you can absolutely tell by looking at these shoes, is in the heel. Now, would I say I had problems with the heel of the Speedgoat 4? I would not, but I do think there was room for comfort. And by comfort, I did feel sometimes the shoe just fully wasn't like part of my heel, and that was the one area when I look at the comfort, I said, man, if they could somehow improve that for my longer trail runs. I never had any issues with it when it was under 20, 25 miles, but those longer ones, I was like, yeah, there could be some improvement in that heel, and out came the Speedgoat 5. A completely different looking heel. I mean, when you look at these side by side, there's a totally different heel in this with this heel flare, a little bit better of a pocket, and to the touch, it does feel like it's different padding. I wouldn't say it's more, but it's potentially in different spaces. When I took this first run out, the comfort of this shoe was significantly more in the heel space. So when we look at all things being equal, to me, once I figured out the toe box, it became equal. But the initial putting on of the Speedgoat 5, that heel is really comfortable. What is the thing that I like about the Speedgoat 4 more than I like about the Speedgoat 5? I know this may sound a little small, but the laces to me are a little bit better, and I'm wondering if that had to do with why my first lace up was a little bit different. They're definitely totally different materials. The Speedgoat 4 seems like they have a little bit more sturdy of laces that don't slip, and so I actually may be taking the laces out of the Speedgoat 4 and putting them in the Speedgoat 5. Second, also just as important, is the feel and the ride feel. Like I said, hundreds and hundreds of miles. This is my 3rd pair of the Speedgoat 4. I can't complain about the comfort. When I look at my road shoes, and if you've watched any of my other videos, I love a little bit softer ride. I love a pretty bouncy ride in my road shoes, but this is a trail. Like, I don't want super soft. I don't want super bouncy. And when I thought about the Speedgoat 4, I was like, what would I change about the ride? There's two things. Is number one, I hope they don't change the outsole. And the reason is I felt like for the trails that I run, this outsole is perfect. Great grip, great stability on the rocks, the trails, the dirt that I run on. But I wish there was just a little bit more bounce, a little bit more liveliness in the foam of the V4. But I'm not complaining about the V4. And so my hope is that they didn't change it too much, if at all, but gave it a little bit more of that livelihood. And I will tell you, from mile one, this update hit the spot. I put it on first mile on the trail and I go, this shoe feels so much more lively and so much more bouncy than version 4. Now it is 0.5 ounces lighter, so almost a half an ounce lighter, but it feels significantly lighter. It feels far lighter than nearly a half an ounce. And the bounce and the return, like when I'm going up a hill, it feels like the shoe's actually working with me. And it feels a little bit like I've got that bounce and that performance in a road shoe from the Speedgoat 5. Man, this ride was perfect for me. I've ran in Nike, I've ran in Salomon, I've ran in Saucony trail shoes, and this shoe has the most life, the most road-like feel for what I like with that softness and that bounce. Man, 2 out of 2, and I'm sure you saw this coming. From a ride standpoint, by far, HOKA Speedgoat 5 is significantly more improved than the Speedgoat 4. Now, overall, I think it's no surprise. Like, I clearly would choose the Speedgoat 5 over the Speedgoat 4, even at right now, $10 premium. We know the Speedgoat 4 is going to be dropping in cost as every iteration when there's something that's new comes out, the old one goes down in price. I do believe that the premium is worth it in this shoe. And again, if you've watched some other videos, you know I'm not one to always promote the newest shoe. When I look at the Speedgoat lineup, this number 5 by far is a significant improvement over V4 and worth the extra dollars. The comfort, the ride, and hopefully getting that same longevity out of that shoe is gonna get you guys out enjoying the trails and enjoying the time, and your feet are gonna be thanking you. Hopefully get this thing out to Grand Canyon soon. Catch you guys on the next review. See ya.